there was no escape from the touching, really. It was horrible, horrible experience. You felt almost suffocated by it. There was hands going in any conceivable area of your body. Hi guys! So Holi is coming up very soon, and as Alex and I went last year in India, I thought I would share some tips with you today. These tips are for everybody, but for the second half of the video it is more aimed at women, because I was horribly sexually harassed whenever I went last year, and I don't want the same thing to happen to you guys. So what is Holi Festival? Holi Festival is a festival of colour. It is celebrated all over the world, but it does originate in India, so that's where we went for it. And it's celebrated more in the north of India. So we went to a place called Mathura, which is supposed to be the place to go and celebrate it. So the festival involves burning effigies, you've got bonfires, dancing in the streets, and first and foremost, throwing around lots of paint and water. Okay, so these are my general tips. The first tip is get up early. Most of the celebrations, especially in India and northern India, finish around lunchtime, so you want to get in there early to sort of see the celebration in its full swing. If you rock up at 12 o'clock, you'll just be seeing sort of the end of it and the dregs of it, so make sure you turn up early. If you can, try and find a private party to go to. I say this because after we went and we spoke to locals about our experiences, they weren't surprised at what happened because of where we went. They said that they personally would always go to a private party because it's a lot more contained. It's still a lot of fun, but the sort of likelihood of getting groped and things like that is a lot smaller. So my next tip is to do with Bang Lassi. You may have heard of it. It is a drink made of cannabis, and they tend to use this a lot during the Holi celebrations. We met some people who did try it. We didn't try it ourselves, but they were regular cannabis users, and they even said that it completely blew their socks off. So just a pre-word of warning here, if you are planning on having the Bang Lassi, go for it. Just be really careful, especially if you're traveling on your own, because the last thing you want to do is be completely out of it whilst in the complete madness of the crowds. So just take care and stay safe. Make sure you get your paints before the day. This is because A, it's going to be way more readily available, and B, it will be cheaper. So leading up to the event, you will see paint everywhere. Every street corner will be selling it. It comes in big buckets, and usually, you know, you'll scoop out however much you want. They'll weigh it and you pay for it that way. A lot of these paints are made from really nasty chemicals which make them so bright. So if possible, try and find more natural based colours, because this paint will go in your eyes and mouth, and you want to really reduce the amount of chemicals that's going in your body at all costs. Keep an eye on your paint. We lasted about 2 minutes outside before we were surrounded by people, and they ran off with our paint. I had to actually chase them down the road to get it from them. Holi Festival seems like the perfect opportunity to take some incredible, colourful photos. However, I am warning you now, nobody is going to give a shit about your camera or equipment. So please, please be careful. There will be water and paint being thrown everywhere. So if you don't take proper precautions, your camera will be completely ruined. We went for the GoPro option. Our GoPro has waterproof housing on it, so we just used that. But as you can see, a year later, it's still stained pink. If you are set on taking your DSLR camera with you, make sure you Holi-proof it. I will put a link in the description below to a blog where this guy has completely mastered the art of covering up his camera ready for Holi. So I'll put a link in that below. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of the paints that they use during Holi Festival are extremely artificial and full of really nasty chemicals. So what you want to do is protect your hair and your skin as much as possible. Cover up as much skin as you possibly can. Wear long sleeves, long trousers, cover up your hair even. You can wrap your hair in a bandana or a turban. Also, any exposed skin or hair, make sure you moisturize it heavily. Even put oil on it if you can, because not only will this stop it sticking to your skin so much, it will also help a lot with getting the paint off afterwards. After the celebrations, you are going to be absolutely plastered in paint. You're going to want to get that off. Try not to use a strong soap, because all that's going to do is dry your skin out even more than the paint already will have. So try and use a mild soap and moisturize a lot. So as well as covering up your body and your hair, you might also want to wear sunglasses. There's going to be powdered paint going everywhere, so if I were you, put some sunglasses on, stop as much as possible that paint getting in your eyes. This part of my video is aimed more at the female travellers out there. I want to talk to you about my experience in Holi and hopefully give you some tips to help prevent that happening to you. I was really excited about going to Holi Festival. It's been on my bucket list for ages and I was so disappointed with how it turned out. And I kind of knew that as a Western woman I would get more attention and I would get groping and things like that. But nobody out there really told me about the extent of how bad it was going to be. I was really shocked and taken aback by it. On the day, we got ready, we went down the steps of our hotel, and within 2 feet of stepping out of the hotel, we had a horde of men come up to us. To start with, we didn't think much of it. We just thought everyone's being super friendly and, you know, they all wanted to give us hugs. They were saying happy Holi. Everyone seemed in really good spirits. But then as we kept trying to walk down the road, we would walk only maybe 5 or 10 meters before getting accosted by another group. And the men would just come in hordes. And they were really clever. What they would do is they would take Al and his dad off to one side, kind of putting themselves between us. And they would be really friendly with them and sort of distract them whilst completely engulfing Alex's sister and I. There was no escape from the touching, really. It was horrible experience. You felt almost suffocated by it. You were stood there and there was nothing you could do about it. There was hands going in any conceivable area of your body. What was happening is, as we were stood there, not only were they grabbing over our clothing, but they were putting their hands down our tops to grab our boobs. They were touching everywhere. There was nothing that was off limits. It was really horrendous. Obviously there were a lot of people there who were just being friendly and coming up and giving us a hug, saying happy Holi and going on their way. But unfortunately everyone else made it so awful that we ended up having to go back early. It's almost like they just used the celebration as an excuse to go out and grope Western women. I don't understand why so many of them do it. It was just a really awful experience and it's not what I had in mind. I expected to be able to go down to the main temple, dance around with everybody else, throw paint around. I knew I was going to get some unwanted attention, but I didn't think it would actually enable me to get into the destination. We couldn't get more than 200 meters down the road in the end. Alex and his dad walked us back to the hotel while still being accosted by men the whole way back. Then when we were finally inside, Alex and his dad went out on their own. And the worst thing is, they walked the full mile to the temple and didn't get stopped once. Not one single person came up to them. They had some paint thrown at them from passers-by and things, but nobody came up to them. So it was only when we were there that we were getting all this horrible unwanted attention. For the solo female travellers out there, I want to be able to say to you, just go and enjoy yourself, because that's how I feel about most places when I'm travelling on my own. But when it comes to Holi Festival, I really do not recommend it. I wish I didn't have to say this, but I do. I feel that you will get so much more attention, as I did, and it's not nice. It's not nice that I even have to say this, and it's not nice that you are restricted more than anyone else will be, but unfortunately that's the case. So try and find a group online, even in your hotel, if you have a local Indian family that you can go with. All those things are really great. The last thing that I would have wanted to do on that day was to be stuck on my own in the middle of those crowds. It would have been so intimidating. So please pair up with somebody else. If I was to go again, it sounds really ridiculous, but I would try and dress like a man. I would strap down my boobs as much as possible. I would wear an underlayer of clothing under everything and baggy men's clothing over the top. And for my face, wrap the whole thing in a turban, put sunglasses on, try and blend in as much as possible as a man, because men just do not get the same attention as women do. Another tactic I wondered about was when we were walking around, I did see a lot of local women walking and not being bothered by the men. So I'm wondering whether dressing in a sari and covering your face could also be a good tactic. anything to hide the fact that you're a Western woman is going to help you. So anything where you're covering your face, your body as much as possible is only going to help. My aim of this video really is not to put anybody off going to celebrations in India for Holi. It was an experience, and I'm sure if I was better prepared, it would have been a much better experience. If you like
go back in because they were getting molested and it was really horrible. Then me and my dad went out and no one talked to us for quite a while. We could walk around, but everyone's in amazing spirits. Everyone's just shouting happy Holi, we're throwing paint at each other. There's monkeys running around covered in paint, there's cows covered in paint.